generations throughout generations and generations with the plastic frames, with the machinery, with harvesters, things like that. It's really stressed them out. It has changed how they grow. It has changed how they live. So right now, for us to sort of say, oops, no more honey, like it's not sustainable, that would be not good for the bees, because they actually need us more than ever right now. We've sort of, like I said, dug ourselves a hole. So instead of, instead of us doing it the same way that it's been done the past couple generations, kind of taking it old school, like I said, going back to the way it was done, just wooden lifestyles, hand harvesting, no machinery to do anything like that. And when we harvest honey, very rarely do we get stung, so very rarely do bees die. It's always a very holistic process. We always wait till it's capped off. That means they've stored it for winter, so there's like a thin layer of white capping on each. So I get it. I get why why some vegans are against honey, because the beekeeping industry is pretty messed up right now as a whole. The mass beekeeping industry, the big guys, if you will. And so I feel, as beekeepers and as consumers of honey and natural products, it's kind of our goal to make the right decision, because there are so many options right now, and a lot of them are not good for the bees. So I get it. I get why a lot of vegans don't do honey. But at the same time, it's almost just as important to support people who are trying to keep them around and keep them sustainable, versus, judging or saying I don't do honey, that sort of thing, and not thinking about where it actually comes from and the sourcing, because there are so many different ways.
Do you think the general good rule of thumb is support your local beekeeper?
I wish I could say that. That's a good question. I wish I could say the general rule of thumb is to support your local beekeeper or support organic beekeeping even. But it doesn't. I think it's all about having the conversation. I mean, that's a good place to start. Trust me.
Go to the local
but it's about
person,
having a conversation with them, figuring
make sure
out.
they align with your values.
Make sure things you can ask them is, are they foundationless? And so that means they're not using plastic frames. They're not using machinery. It's a general word that most beekeepers will know pretty quickly, and they'll be able to associate that and answer your question. Ask them if they're treatment free.
What's treatment free again?
Treatment free doesn't just mean Roundup and sprays. It also means like experimental, like pheromones and things like that, feeding them sugar waters, things like that. All of that. Ask them if they make their bees travel, or believe in monocropping, which is things like the California almond industry, which is killing the bees more than anything right now. That's a question we ask vegans a lot. We're like, are you eating almonds?
Wow.
Because the almonds are hurting the bees more than anything right now. And yeah, I've eliminated almonds, and it's hard. I love almond milk. I love the dark chocolate soy, or it's the dark chocolate almond milk from Silk. I love that stuff, but I've eliminated them because, and California almonds, the Italian Marconi almonds are pollinated differently in most cases. But yeah, the California almond industry as a whole is really what's destroying the bees in groves right now, because of, first of all, it's just monocropping. It's single floral varieties, so. And it doesn't provide a good nectar for them, so it's not healthy for them to be sustained on just that. And the beekeepers know that. Yeah, the beekeepers know that, so they end up feeding them sugar waters and experimental medicines, and that stuff gets in the honey. So as well as the plastic frames, the monocropping, the sugar waters, all that stuff is degrading their generations. So each generation they're getting slower and bigger, things like that. Yeah, exactly. They're teaching us so much that we're not listening to anyway, right? And even by just the reaction to what we're putting them through. But we've noticed really good results in the way we beekeep. We've noticed our bees get smaller, more agile. So we're really happy for them, and we hope that we're doing the right thing. Like I said, it's a very peaceful. And it's a very peaceful interaction every time we have with them. It's very symbiotic, I'd like to think. Like things like hive beetle are a big concern for some beekeepers. Instead of treating them, we'll squish them with their thumb, and sometimes the bees will come in after us and throw them off, and it's like really like a relationship that we're doing. And I think because of that, I really do. I think that our sense, like our influence, it's reminding them that we're helping them, not just going in there and robbing honey and putting them in a big machine and things like that. It's something way different that we're trying to provide for them. A way more holistic lifestyle. A natural lifestyle, something closest they could have to like they would in nature, like in a trunk of a tree in wood, and sort of supporting them. Have you guys heard of like flow hives, things like that? So That's, you know, that's more just, you know, harvesting the honey whenever it's convenient for the beekeeper, but it's not letting, it's not letting them build their own ecosystem in the way it used to be done. So you hear a lot of times, oh, the flow hive's better, it's more natural, it's less intrusion, but we kind of need to be hands-on with the bees right now, because like I said, we're in that situation, we're in a dire situation with them.
Wow.
And yeah, so being hands-on with them is what we need to do. We just need to do it the right way, not try to manipulate things so much. Yeah, do things the way they used to be done, because the bees knew what they were doing before we busted up in the scene. And I'm pretty sure, you know, they had a handle on things. So yeah, I hope that answers all your questions.
So thorough, Alex.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
Thank
I appreciate it. I hope you got that
you.
on video.
That was